Susan DeBoer is a scientist, nutritional consultant, and lifestyle educator. Her strong interest in exploring how nutritional, environmental, and immune factors interact to affect health have led her to pursue both an Honors Bachelor of Science and a Master's of Science with distinction at the University of Guelph. Since 1993, she has been passionate about inspiring and guiding individuals, organizations, and health practitioners to explore science-based, natural health strategies through services offered by her company, Proactive Health Resources. Following a period of international agri-food work in Europe, Susan took on the role of research associate and lecturer with several departments at the University of Guelph, as well as consulting with the agri-food sector and the Ontario Ministry of Agriculture and Food. Attracted to the biological model of health, where science respects nature, Susan has made a solid commitment to continuing education in the new realm of predictive, personalized healthcare, where individuals are guided according to their genetic and biochemical uniqueness, a new discipline known as nutrigenomics. She is proud to have been given the opportunity to be among the first in Canada to introduce the First Line Therapy program, designed for professional use in North American clinics. The program implements therapeutic lifestyle changes, TLC, that are advocated by leading health organizations to address the underlying causes of chronic illness and overweight.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much on this cold winter night that we are in a cozy place sharing health information. And I heard some of the stories being shared in the other room during your previous meeting, and I certainly sympathize with you on the pain and inflammation aspect of what you're going through, because I have also come from a similar background, and I'll share that story a little bit. As you could probably tell, I am very enthusiastic and passionate about where I come from, where I'm headed. I have gone through a lot of challenges in dealing with chronic fatigue syndrome, and I would believe that fibromyalgia certainly was an overlap in that. And along with that come a whole variety of strange symptoms that migrate and appear on different days according to different stressors in your life and so on. But joint pain certainly is one of those, as well as muscle pain and connective tissue pain. So there's a whole variety of things very much similar to lupus erythematosus. And I know that there's a member here that spoke about that. So these are complex things, and we're going to try to figure out a little bit what might be behind them. I thought I would start off a little bit in painting a picture of a lot of optimism. And, you know, I know at this point you're wondering, you know, where do I go from here? Some of you are just new to the diagnosis, but there is great hope. There is a renaissance going on in healthcare, and it's a quiet renaissance to the average person. But to us science nerds who love being science nerds, it's an extraordinary time in history. What you're seeing is sort of the culmination of these incredible projects, the Genome Project, where we're mapping out the incredible book of life of chromosomes and genes in our human bodies. We're finding very interesting things from that, and we're also coupling that information with pretty impressive technologies and diagnostics. So science and medicine have come a long way, but get this, the beauty of it is that we're actually getting to the point where the science is saying we are respecting ancient wisdom, thousands of years of knowledge that was passed on. And it's now that we're validating that wisdom with the science. It's quite incredible. So we've always known that chamomile might be calming, right? Or ginger is very soothing, but what is it in there that's doing that? And now we're finding these molecules and how they interact with us. So the beautiful book of life that is you is unique to you, okay? That genetic code, each and every one has a very different book. And it's not only what cards you were dealt in terms of genetics, it's how life washes over those genes that causes the ultimate expression. So some genes will light up and others will going to shut down depending on our circumstances. So just because we may be born with a genetic fragility, some kind of weakness, doesn't mean it has to be expressed. and it can be controlled to a great extent with environment and lifestyle factors, and that's good news for us, right? It's not just a straight diagnosis. So we're really going from this era of, shall we say, the taxonomic view of medicine, where initially in the post-war era we try to simplify things. So we thought, oh well, we'll just have chapters in a book. So we have the cardiologist, we have the hepatologist, we have the endocrinologist, and so on. You see how we were sort of told that we are a collection of separate parts, right? And that's indeed not the case. So the new era of medicine is saying we are a web-like interaction where everything affects everything. Okay, so this thing that we thought was homeostasis, out, you know, the perfect condition of our inner body, it's not. It's homeodynamic. Things are moving constantly according to the circumstances we put our body under. So that's one big distinction. So we're not just reducing things to one cause, you know, one symptom, one solution. That is no longer the case. We now know that we got to look at many systems within the body to bring about balance. And that's very exciting. And that whole discipline of medicine is called functional medicine, where we look at functionality of organs and tissues and cells, right, going to from the macro to the micro level. That is still medicine, but we're at the level of the cell, but don't stop there. We're going beyond. We're looking at the actual molecules within the cell and biochemical markers and signaling, communicating molecules, and what story are they telling us? So in other words, when we do the right workup and testing and good interview with the client, we can tell pretty good indicators, and we can see early signs of dysfunction long before end-stage organ failure or when we're really broken, right? So at that stage where we're really broken, please give me rescue medicine, right? Acute care rescue medicine of drugs, surgery, and other interventions, right? Those are heroic measures, but let's save those when we need them. So this new era of medical science that's evolving, it will be 10 to 15 years before our average practitioner is comfortable with that information. Okay, and I am one of these people who likes to bridge the gap between that knowledge that's coming out of the scientific world and bringing it to the level of the practitioner and to the public. And so that's kind of the passion that I have, is the teaching and showing and guiding the person. Now, so the acute care medical model, we're somewhat doing what we call downstream medicine. Here is the genetic programming, and here are the symptoms way down in various biochemical pathways. Something has triggered some reaction off that we don't like, but it's a bunch of symptoms. So maybe high blood pressure, right? It may be pain in the joints. It may be gastrointestinal discomfort. What we do in functional medicine, those of us who use that model of wellness, we go upstream to the site of the gene expression. We're trying to think what genes have turned on to cause this and what mediators have done that. So we're looking at the antecedents to something that's going to happen. So what are the conditions that cause this, the triggers and the mediators, the biochemical mediators. So it's a real systematic workup, but it's very new to the average medical practitioner. Then we look at restoring functionality in tissue, and I have certainly heard you discussing potential treatments and therapies, right, that your doctor may be proposing. That is definitely an option that you never disregard. You never disregard that. But know that there are adjunct therapies that are naturally based in terms of nutraceuticals, lifestyle, stress reduction, and the whole diet. 80% of success that we see with all kinds of inflammatory conditions lies in knowing the friend from foe in your diet. And that's a huge part of what I teach when I sit with clients, is to know how food, it's not just calories, as we used to think, right? It's actually, foods are what we call biological response modifiers. They cause an impact, turn on or off genes, the minute it goes past our lips, right? So that chocolate cake, right, with the bad fat, stimulant, caffeine in it, all that stuff, you know, high glycemic index, the minute it goes past my lips, there's very different things turned on, different hormones being signaled and all kinds of stuff.